Hey guys, welcome back to this St Pölten series. Today's livecom will be the away trip to Rapid Vienna. But first, some very disappointing and depressing news on the contractual and eventually transfer news. Two pretty key players wouldn't sign contracts with me, and as I went over with you last episode, most of my players were in fact a year away from their contracts expiring. It's even less than a year now, it's about 6 months. So I had to tie up the contracts that I needed to tie up, and obviously one or two players either wanted far too much money than I could accept, or plain didn't want to sign a new deal. So that was disappointing. I'm just going to show you who the players in question are now. First off, I've agreed a 750k deal for Konstantin Kirschbaumer to join Ingolstadt. He's been a pretty key player for us throughout the years at this club, really, and it's obviously extremely sad to see him go because he's still making things tick in midfield, very much so. So yeah, he's going to be he was a crucial part of our midfield, and he's going to be a huge gap to fill. I'm hoping Stankovic, who's similarly gifted technically, to eventually step up and fill that role and maybe even exceed what Kirschbaumer has done for this club, but obviously he's not quite at the same level yet. So he's going to be a big miss. For what I think is 450k, Pablo Cepelini also decided not to sign a new deal. Well, in fact, I decided not to get him on a new deal because he wanted 4.3k, already on 3.5k, of course. His continuing presence at the club was just not healthy for the finances. Managed to sell him for about 450k, so that's good news financially, not so good news for our midfield, as it's been absolutely decimated now. So we're going to look to be bringing at least one Premier League standard midfielder in to try and fill that hole. But it was a necessary thing, really, because he was never going to sign a new deal with reasonable wage demands, and got quite a lot of money out of it. So yeah, I guess it will end well eventually. In terms of the table so far, then Innsbruck and Altach just played their game, and Innsbruck won that 1-0. So they're breathing down my neck on the same points as me in 6th and SV Ried in 5th. Within striking distance are the two Vienna clubs. Austria Vienna are 2 points ahead, Rapid Vienna are 3. Off into the distance, occupying the top 2 spaces, RB Salzburg and Sturm Graz, while at the bottom it's Altach, Wolfsberger and Mattersburg occupying the relegation battle so far. So I'm going to show you the last few Premier League fixtures and how we got on in the Austrian FA Cup now. First off, we managed to secure an impressive 2-0 victory against Austria Vienna. It was a long time coming. After 80 minutes, Herrera's pullback for Konstantin Kirschbaumer made it 1-0. Then, just a minute from time, we got a penalty that Pablo Cepelini managed to convert. It's a pretty bitter, cruel irony that it was the two departees who managed to secure us the win there. Maybe a foreshadowing of some darker times ahead. We then had an absolutely titanic game away at Altach, the newly promoted side. But unfortunately, we were on the end of a 5-4 defeat. Mendes getting the first goal pretty much straight from kickoff. And it only took them 2 minutes to get their second. Some heroic defending from Pinesip, putting the ball into his own fucking net. The scoreline was made even worse on 13 minutes. Hallman managing to find Schnellhardt to make it 3-0 before 15 minutes had even been played. A disastrous start. However, we did manage to give ourselves a fighting chance after the half-hour mark. That finish from Stankovic from a Kirschbaumer pullback. However, it was to be Altach who would have the last laugh in the first half. This goal from Mendes set up by a through ball from Herman. Obviously, I had to give the boys an absolute rollicking in the dressing room at half-time, and for a while, it looked like it might have paid off. Didn't take long for us to reduce the arrears and make it 4-2. A delightful pass from Stankovic and a smashing finish from Ibrahimovic. However, we lost our defensive discipline yet again and allowed Altach to make the score 5-2, a goal that would put the result beyond our reach. Mendes there securing his hat-trick. Rather bizarre closing stages of the game gave us hope of an unlikely fight back. This strange goal from Riegler was followed by him running up to the opposition keeper and taunting him. A bit of mind games there, sort of in the Tim Krul mould. With just 10 minutes to go, we reduced the deficit to 1 goal, giving us hope that we could stage an unlikely fight back, but disappointingly there were to be no more goals in this encounter. We then went to Wolfsberger and only got a point from a game we really should have won. Herrera got the assist for the first goal. He found Ceppolini on the edge of the box, who smashed it in to make it 1-0. However, we could only make our lead last 10 minutes. Good 1-2 between Bednar and Merg, and an emphatic finish. The defenders should have put more pressure on him though. Our disappointing run of form continued with a defeat to SV Reed, thanks to this Vastic goal from a corner. Disappointingly, just over a week after playing them in the league, Wolfsberger dumped us out of the cup. Herrera pouncing on the rebound from a Ceppolini effort gave us the belief that we would go through to the quarter-finals for the first time in this save. However, a few minutes later, Falk found Prokop, who equalised to take it to extra time. Not long after extra time had been confirmed, Ernich found Prokop, who scored the winner. Our players left exhausted and morale was deflated. So it was by some miracle that we managed to defeat title challengers Sturm Graz 4-1 at their own ground. Lovely little bit of interplay in their box got us the first goal. Arthur hitting it against a defender and Kirschbaumer hitting the rebound straight into the back of the net. It was more or less an instant reply from Sturm Graz, however. Linson delivered the ball deep into our box and Dovedan was there on the end to make it 1-1. In somewhat bizarre fashion, we managed to take the lead through René Felix, his cross spilled by the goalkeeper. So it turns out the bad luck of goalkeeping errors was finally reversed for us. In the last 10 minutes it was a tale of 2 corners. Firstly, Sebastian Fuchs delivering a towering header to make it 3-1. Then a few minutes later, from another corner, their goal scorer Dovedan put one over in the other net to make it 4-1. A delightful result, but a pretty lucky one at that. We then scrapped to an important 1-0 victory against SV Mattersburg. The goal came when Hofbauer had the vision to find Stankovic unmarked on the edge of the 6-yard box, and he put away the finish brilliantly. However, the theme of inconsistency continued when we hosted Innsbruck. They took the lead through a corner, Propakic getting on the end of a scramble. We managed to equalise through Kobiarfa, as he took advantage of some pretty lacklustre, sluggish defending from Innsbruck. We did, however, concede an unlucky winner when the ball rebounded off the bar and nobody picked up Suleimani, who put it away with just 2 minutes to go. So, now you're fully in the know as to how we've been getting on the pitch. Now it's time for the away trip to Rapid Vienna, so we're going to go straight into the team selection. Rapid Vienna are obviously a very strong team, so it's going to have to be the counter-attacking tactic, I think, for this game. Bit of team news, Dominik Hofbauer has a pretty long-term injury. He's out for 3 months, so he's going to be a big miss. But we're going to bring René Felix on for the left-hand side, considering giving Gajarian a go on the left wing if we're leading coming into the final stages, simply because he needs match practice up there. And yeah, let's see what he can do, hopefully. But the two impending transfers, Ceppolini and Kirschbaumer, will both be starting in the midfield. Just want to squeeze every last drop out of them until they leave the club. So that's the reasoning behind that. I think, yeah, I think that team's good to go. Let's get into the game. Let's see how they're going to line up. No Denny Alar, he's injured, which is a huge relief because he bangs in the goals every season. That Tadic up front is not the same Tadic who plays for Southampton in real life, so that's a relief. Gerhard, I think it's Guido, isn't it? Yeah, Guido Bergstaller, who plays for Cardiff in real life, is on the bench, so that shows the strength of that team, really, if you think about the sort of level that Austrian football is at on the grand scheme of things. But anyway, we're not going to let that faze us. We are going to go into this game quietly confident, considering we're only, 3 points behind them in the league, that we can maybe nick a result here. So, we're off. And it's Rapid Vienna kicking us off there as we wait for the first highlight. Pretty quiet start so far. Just going to be a sheep to my assistant manager, making all the tactical calls. And they've got a free kick in a dangerous position, and you just know it's coming. As soon as the highlight starts and there's a free kick in a dangerous position, you know it's coming. Why would it be a key highlight otherwise? I am so done. So we're 1-0 down already. It might be a bit difficult to come back into this game, but we're not going to give up hope. It's Pinesip. He be out. Pinesip delivers it to Herrera, puts through Felix, and that's offside. Well, I wasn't about to jump out of my seat. It was given offside very quickly. If you're going to disallow a goal, at least disallow it quickly. That's very reasonable. They've got we've got the ball here, but it's in their half. It's in our half, sorry. Herrera just kicks it straight at the opposition player. That shows a lack of composure, really. No tackle in there, showing that the defenders maybe lack a little bit of confidence. But Widra has the ball out wide to Fila. And now it's Stevanovic. Good save from Riegler. Holzmann is there to sweep the shit up. And hopefully we'll get the ball away now. Ibrahimovic. Do we lead a counter-attack? No. Rapid Vienna get the ball back. And that is the end of the highlight. So, only 1-0 down. Well, there's another highlight here. If we can go into the break only 1-0 down, then it is salvageable. But if they can take a 2-0 lead here, it's going to be very difficult against a superior side to do anything at all, really. Very difficult. So we're going to hope that Stevanovic doesn't finish this chance. It was a very poor contact with the ball, luckily for us. We don't want to get carved open like that too many times in this game. But they've got a corner now, and that's looking dangerous. And so it proves. Tadic scores the second, and we have got a job on our hands to rescue anything at all from this game now. Yeah, nobody picking up Tadic there. I'm not going to tell them that I'm unlucky. I wouldn't say they were awful, but I do expect to see a much better showing. I don't know, I may as well be greedy here. Tell them I've got a bit of faith in them. Get a bit more green in the team talk. That's lovely. Yeah, a bit more positivity in the reaction. Hopefully we can pull off an amazing fight back, but it will have to be pretty darn amazing to get back into this one. It always seems to be that every time I do a proper sort of competitive livecom, I get absolutely dicked if we ignore the Maribor game. So that's not good. We've got a highlight. It's been a good while though, about 15 minutes. Hopefully it's not their goal, because that would be embarrassing. And it is embarrassing. And it's 3-0. Oh dear. This is morale crushing here. So I'm going to need to make changes now to try and reduce the arrears. If anything, just make the scoreline a bit more respectable. Holzmann, the only guy who can play proper like left mid. So I reckon, yeah, Herrera and Bitchel, and hopefully that works. This is very embarrassing. My sincerest apologies. I've got a highlight straight from the kickoff. Let's see if we can do anything here. No, they give the ball away, but Kirschbaumer wins it back. And now it's Ambitchel. Whipping in a ball, Herrera, good save. That's what it took, a good save to keep that out. Holzmann, Ambitchel, he's not lost the ball, and Herrera, if that's not offside, and it isn't, has pulled it back straight away. So we've done all we can so far to get back into this one. But we're just going to have to keep attacking if we want to get anything here. I'm tempted to switch to control, but it doesn't really give me much in the way of goals when I do it normally, so I might reconsider. Nevertheless, we don't want to concede straight away yet again, but it looks like we might, because Bergstaller has a lot of space, but his finish, like many others, is extremely poor, and that's the end of the highlight. 2 defenders there on 6.0 ratings. That just shows you the level that we've been at. Not really good enough, and we've been pretty soundly beaten, it has to be said. They're just going to dither with the ball, really. They don't need to particularly press us. We're just waiting to have a sniff at the ball at the moment, but that's a poor pass. And hopefully we can break now with Ambichel. Herrera through the middle. Ibrahimovic, he's taken the ball too wide, but he's pulled it back for Kirschbaumer. Ambichel, Herrera! And it's not offside, and it's 3-2. Could the comeback be on? Could it? Well, there's plenty of time still. 15 minutes is a long time to score a goal. We may as well go overload for the last 5. You only live once. So let's see what it does. Maybe it just opens us up and we concede about 3 more goals. But maybe, just maybe, we can get back into this. Listen, Rapid Vienna attack by the looks of it, and we've been opened up, and it's a good save from Riegler that stops a 4th Rapid Vienna goal. They're keeping the ball here, as you need to do when you're trying to see out a victory. They're not particularly pressing. We need to get the ball back, basically. I believe that's our throw, but it'll probably be the end of the highlight, and it is. And no shots on goal despite going on overload. That is the epitome of overload on this game. Never seems to do anything for me. Doesn't really breathe life into my team, shall we say. I don't know, we've not gone down without a fight, but we have in the end gone down. I mean, the damage had already been done. It's good that Herrera managed to get the 2 goals back, but it just wasn't enough, really. Played well in the second half. I won't say we played very well. Can't fault them for their effort. So that's going to be it, unfortunately. I'll just come back after the Salzburg game to see how that game went and see what the table looks like after exactly half the season. On to the Salzburg game then, and we managed to get a decent draw against one of the runaway leaders, Borja there with the goal from a corner. And then they had a man sent off, and so we managed eventually, after some pressure, to take advantage. Herrera delivering a deep cross in, on the end of it was Marcel Holzmann, who made it 1-1. Decent return from that game, but it could have been more. In terms of the league table then, after exactly 18 games, we're still in 7th, which is just a shit performance, to be honest, in the first half. But up to 4th, it is still extremely tight, and there's still absolutely everything to play for. Even Austria Vienna are languishing in 6th. So if we can improve on our second half of the season, then maybe, just maybe, we can replicate the success of last season. But with the 2 departees, it's not looking likely, and it looks like consolidation will await us. We shouldn't worry about relegation. We're 9 points clear of Mattersburg, so it's just going to be one of those dull mid-table seasons, unfortunately. It might take a while, I think, to establish us as a successful team, but, you know, old Whiskey Nose did take a while to win anything with Man United, and look what a dynasty he managed to build. So, anything is still possible in this save. We just need to try and make it happen. It's going to be a very long-term save, as I said, so hopefully you guys will stick around, even if we do start to go for a bit of a sticky patch now, which I can envisage. Not trying to be negative, but it's hard. So, that's the end of it for this episode, guys. I'll see you all after 9 games. Take care.